Good morning, guys. It's been an eventful week, and I'll tell you all about it. But for right now, let's get up and go.
Et sèche-moi ces larmes de crocodile.
My niece turned 1 this week. Abhishek Bhargav dropped by.
What's up, dude? What's up, bro? He's gonna work out with me today. So what are we hitting today? Chest!
We worked out. We talked for a bit. So, Bhargav, you used to be pretty ripped, right? And then you took a
Wait, just one second. Why is your t-shirt dirty?
The dumbbells are dirty, bro. It's not my fault. So, Bhargav, you used to be ripped once upon a time, and then you took a mass gainer. So, what happened really in the middle?
Mass gainer? You serious, bro? You see this mass gainer?
So, Bhargav, you used to be pretty lean, right?
Yeah.
And then you took a gainer. So, what happened in the middle there?
Actually, I gained a lot of fat rather than some quality muscle mass.
So, guys, addressing all the hard gainers out there who think that they need a mass gainer to build muscle, he was a hard gainer. He was very thin. And he put on a lot of muscle before he actually took a gainer and gained fat. So, you don't need a muscle gainer to gain muscle. You can do it with normal protein.
Yeah, you see in gainer, you are paying for actually carbs and very little bit of protein.
Yeah, so I would recommend that you actually get a quality protein instead of getting a gainer. And I'll discuss this more in the next video. And then he left.
So, but how was the workout today?
It was great.
Had a good time?
Yeah.
See you next time, buddy. See you.
Okay, bro. Okay. See ya.
Guys, now does this happen to everyone or is it just me? That you love a t-shirt too much to throw it out? Well, Homer Simpson is that t-shirt for me. And what is up with my look today? Let's freshen it up. Well, now that's different. Comment down below if it's better or worse than what I had before. And for the third thing in the week, I went to another birthday party. And as the last thing I did this week, I went to see The Avengers. Finally, I saw the Infinity War. And it's a 10 out of 10 movie. I will most probably see it again this week. Finally, after that, I went for lunch with a couple of friends. And that was it. Come on guys, I'm not gonna leave you hanging and watching me eat. Let's talk about the half-life of caffeine. The half-life of caffeine is 5 to 6 hours. But what does half-life even mean? Half-life means the time it takes for any substance, the quantity of it to be reduced to half. Well, what does that mean? That means that if you consume 200 milligrams of caffeine at 12 noon, you would still have approximately 100 milligrams of it at 5 to 6 p.m. in your body. Well, how does that affect you? Well, that means have caffeine early in the day, and having 100 milligrams still in your blood is a lot of caffeine. Other than that, guys, caffeine also has advantages, some short-term, some long-term. I'll put them on the screen for you to read. Pause the screen in 3, 2, 1. Got him? Okay, then let's go. And guys, now for the rest of the video, I'm gonna keep the informational bit short. I don't know why I said that. That's not gonna happen. Now, when it comes to any stimulant, there's sensitivity and then there's tolerance. Sensitivity is your genetic predisposition towards the stimulant. That is how you will react to it or how sensitive you will be towards it the first time you ingest it. Whereas tolerance is what you build up over your sensitivity towards it. Over time, the more you ingest it, the more tolerance you build towards it. Now, when it comes to caffeine, you're either hypersensitive, hyposensitive, or you fall smack dab in the middle. Now, if you are hypersensitive, you'll start experiencing the effects of caffeine from a very small dose of less than 100 milligrams. But at the same point of time, you are more exposed to the ill effects of caffeine, such as jitters, insomnia, and increased heartbeat. Whereas if you're hypersensitive to caffeine, you can have a large dose of greater than 500 milligrams and still really feel nothing at all. You can even have caffeine late at night and still go to sleep. Now, most of the people, like me for example, have normal sensitivity towards caffeine. That means we will get the ill effects later than the guys who are hypersensitive and get the benefits faster than the guys who are hypersensitive to caffeine. Tolerance towards caffeine starts building from the first sip you take, and it's usually noticeable within 1 to 4 days of regular consumption. Now, when tolerance starts to build in your system, you'll notice the ill effects of caffeine such as increased heart rate, jitters, anxiety, and increased blood pressure will go away before the rest of the good effects of caffeine will go away. Just in case guys, if you don't know why I'm talking about caffeine, there's a first part to this video and I've linked that in the description. Check it out. Now, if you're wondering why I'm talking about sensitivity and tolerance towards caffeine, guys, you don't want to take a dose of 400 milligrams and later realize that you're sensitive towards caffeine. You're one of the hypersensitive ones. And when it comes to tolerance, guys, if you've noticed that your tolerance is building up, maybe it's time to start weaning off caffeine, because it's a slippery slope from building up tolerance towards getting addicted to it. Now, your body has finally finished detoxing itself of caffeine. The adenosine receptors are free to receive the adenosine that has been increasing the entire time your body was under the influence of caffeine. As soon as the adenosine receptors attach to the adenosine itself, you experience what is known as a caffeine crash. Due to the adenosine receptors attaching to the adenosine, your glutamate, dopamine, norepinephrine, epinephrine, and cortisol get repressed. At the same point of time, you'll feel that you're tired, fatigued, you'll have difficulty concentrating. All the benefits of caffeine will go away and you'll feel like you're a bit easily irritated. So your tolerance kept building up and you didn't stop consuming caffeine. Now comes the fun part, because you are addicted to it. Don't be too hard on yourself. I was addicted to it too. I just stopped my caffeine consumption last week. And it's not that hard to believe that anyone's addicted to caffeine, because it shares a lot of its traits with amphetamines like cocaine and heroin, majorly as to how it manipulates dopamine level to make you feel good. But how did you get here? Why are you now addicted to caffeine? Well, as tolerance levels build, your brain adds more adenosine receptors to combat the stimulant itself. And as soon as you miss a dose with the increased adenosine receptors, all of them attach to adenosines, and bam, that's when you know you're done, you're addicted. Caffeine addiction is often accompanied by adrenal fatigue. What happens in adrenal fatigue? Well, with caffeine being added into the body as a stimulant, it forces the adrenal glands to produce cortisol, adrenaline, and noradrenaline. Over time, they fatigue out, which equates to lower stress handling, low energy levels, and a lesser immunity. Over time, your body also trains cortisol levels to be low in the morning to combat the extra cortisol that is pumped after you have your morning cup of coffee. This overall equates to that if you're addicted to caffeine and you miss your morning cup of coffee, you're gonna have a hard time getting up that day. Now again, if you don't know why cortisol is linked to getting up in the morning, go check out the first video. Now you've sworn off caffeine, you will never have it. Well, you still have a list of these withdrawal symptoms to go through. Of course, you will not be affected by all of them. I wasn't affected by any of these. But now let's cover the ones I was affected by. And now these are the ones I went through. Usually all of them hit me in the middle of my workouts, after 2-3 exercises or 1 or 2 exercises, depends on the day. The only symptom that hit me during the night was flu-like symptoms, which the only thing that it affected me was my nose got blocked up for a couple of days. That's it. Sleepiness, lethargy, nausea and dizziness, all of them came at once, and it was usually in the smack dab middle of my workouts. I did not vomit, but yes, I was nauseated for a long time. As for muscle pain, cramps or stiffness, I usually got muscle cramps personally in my back. After 2 or 3 exercises in my workout, which was usually 1/3 or 1/4 of the way throughout my workout, I would get terrible cramps in my back. It's been around a week and a half since I left caffeine. I have gotten rid of most of them. I don't feel lethargic anymore. I don't feel sleepy anymore. Muscle cramps gone. Flu-like symptoms gone. But at the end of my workouts, I still feel a bit dizzy or nauseated. Why is that? Because, well, those are my withdrawal symptoms I'm dealing with. Also, the benefits that caffeine gave me when I used it as a pre-workout are now gone. Whoa, now we're getting the good stuff, guys. Caffeine and its effect on athletic performance. This is the list of things that didn't personally affect me very much. Am I saying it didn't work? It must have. I just didn't feel it working. Pause the video, read them. Got it? Now let's go to the stuff that did affect me, that I felt worked on me. In general, I did see an increase in exercise performance, be it resistance training, endurance, or muscle activity and torque in strength training. I experienced an increase in the enjoyment of the exercise, which equated to me burning more calories during the exercise and eating less calories post-exercise. I also experienced a decrease in the perceived stress rating, which is how I perceived how much I exerted my body during the workout. Now let's talk about caffeine and fat loss. Well, caffeine does induce lipolysis, which is it releases free fatty acids into the bloodstream to be burned off as energy. Does it also give you a metabolic boost? Yes, it does. Is it an appetite suppressant? Sadly, no, it's not. Decaf is actually a better appetite suppressant than caffeinated coffee. Caffeine in general. Is it gonna change your world? Is it better than a calorie deficit in your diet? No, it's not. It's time for the conclusion, guys. Should you have caffeine? Should you not have it? Well, the bottom line is, according to me, you should have caffeine. Just keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on how much caffeine you're taking, the quantity of it, and how regularly are you increasing the dosage of it. Is it weekly, monthly, yearly, per day? That's up to you. Because the more tolerant you become to it, the more likely it is that you become addicted to it, and you should not become addicted to it. Other than that, keep in mind that don't have caffeine late in the evening because you might not be able to go to sleep late at night. Other than that, just remember to cycle your caffeine. That's all there is to it. Have caffeine. And yeah, just in case you don't know what cycling means, that means you have an on and off period, like have coffee for a month, then don't have it for a week, 2 weeks, a month, for example. Depends on what ratio you keep, but that is what basically cycling is. That'll be all, guys. Like, share, subscribe, drop a comment down below. Tell me what I should discuss next time. And just cycle your caffeine.